I'm doing this again today. We don't have this problem again today. It's terrible signal. Sorry for the feedback. Sorry for the feedback. Sorry for the feedback. Sorry for the feedback. Turn it off. Hey Kevin. Good man. I'm good. Good news and bad news. I think I just broke my fingertip. That's the bad news. Good news is I just got two pretty powerful generators for a friggin' awesome price at this pawn shop. So super psyched about that buy. No buyer's remorse at all, man. They ain't going back. Those generators are staying with me. Sent Mike a pic on Discord. Definitely. Oh, hold on. Really? No, Mike? It says green. That usually means it's working. Give it a second. I think it's maybe a connection thing. Now it is blinking, so there is an issue. Check, check. Oh, Kevin said he heard it good. Oh, okay, I see. Check, check, check. That's what I just did, so hopefully that worked. Kevin said, "Hey, Miss Heather." Good, good. Oh, yeah. So bad news is I think I just broke my finger on the wheel of my bandsaw. No, not really. There's nothing you can do. Even if you did break it, going to the doctor doesn't do nothing but put it in a splint. So it's actually no, don't do that. That would hurt really bad. It's swole now. Here's how I did it. I was bandsawing something, and I'm really careful with my bandsaw blade, but I don't usually keep that the bottom assembly open. And I dropped a piece of wedge that I was cutting for this saw for this hatchet in the bottom. In knee jerk reaction, I just reached and grabbed for it. My finger got caught in the wheel. It hit really hard. Uh, but I got tough bones. Here, kiss it, make it better. It's all gonna be fine. Anyway, good news is I got these two sweet generators. So yeah. I'm like I got a shit eating grin next to one of them. One of the pictures. I so proud of myself. No, and everyone's no generators around, right? Hey, let me give y'all a tip that's got value to you. Hopefully, you probably have one already if you live up there and in a cold place. But if you're looking for a generator, don't go to Lowe's, don't go to Ace, don't go to wherever, Tractor Supply, whatever. Call the pawn shop. I got a way better deal on two really good generators that came back, like ready to go. Got them here, one pull on one, and then like a pulling some wiggling of the choke on the other, and it was good. I put some stay-bill in there. I was a little worried about varnishing the gas, so we're good to go. Thank you for being here. I'm Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Right now we're working on this traditional hatchet here, which the head was made by Ron. The hatchet head here, Ron. That is Ron LaFleur of uh, Homemade by Ron, which is his handle is at Homemade 1970, I believe. Check him out. He forged this hatchet head. Oh wow, dude, that didn't sound good. Need him to forge me another saw. That's one thing I don't do. I don't forge stuff right now. I don't forge stuff at the moment. Let's do a stop because I'm gonna. This handle has a continuous curve. There's curve to it the entire way. Let me put the kind of zoom in a little bit. You guys know what I look like now, right? So you're okay with that. Let's look at the actual piece we're working on, which is right here. Oh, my hand's fine, but thank you for your sympathy. Hey, my honey's handmade. Welcome. Good channel there. Working on this hatchet handle still. I just wanted to just finish it up with a with some curve to the back of this. Now there's curve all the way through, kind of a sympathetic curve here. And then I got a wedge that I'm going to stick in there. And then I worked this is leather that I tanned myself here. Here in Dad's workshop, we tanned this leather. This is a piece of raccoon leather. That's why it doesn't match this. I should have been more careful about that. This is a piece of squirrel leather that will go on the handle, and I will use a baseball stitch to do that. But thank you, My Honey's Handmade, for coming in. I feel super special when you pop through. Great channel over there. He's really good at explaining things, as I tell people. Engaging his audience, super good at that. So shout out to My Honey's Handmade. And anybody else in the building, make yourself known, so I can do that as well for you. Yeah, I hope everybody's prepared for this upcoming storm. If you're in the vicinity, like I said, always, if you were like worried about generators or something and you have the money available, don't let Lowe's and them be the first place you look for it, because I felt very validated today. I told Heather, I said, I'm going to call this pawn shop, man. That's a type of tool that they keep on hand a lot, and no one will think to call them in a storm situation. Bar Run Forge, welcome. Glad to see somebody with a forge that's in here. That's really cool. So, I'm sure you probably know Bar Run. I don't know if you know Ron. He forged this spring steel hatchet head here. I'm gonna grind it a bit. I got to do some stuff. I may have to grind it more than a bit because it has some delamination here. First of all, he's great with the forge, but I think I have to do something about this minor delam here. I might have to take it back down. It's about like 3/8 of an inch in. So it may get ground down a little more. I don't know if y'all can see that on the camera. Yeah, you got to be careful in these kind of storms that you have like a backup plan. Like I said, I didn't get one generator today. These little Honda Predators, I got 2 of them. I feel privileged enough to have been able to afford that. That's why I put money aside for that type of situation. So welcome Bar Run, welcome Kevin, welcome My Honey's Handmade. Appreciate everybody being here. I didn't find the metal. This was I can tell you where Ron got it. Ron got the metal from car springs. So from like strut springs that are in a truck, that's where the metal came from. Same with this where is it at? Because I watched him make it too. This is a chisel made of spring steel too. So this is also made from like automobile springs. Yeah, forged from that. Good question. Thanks for asking me that. Let me carve this out, since that's what we're kind of doing here. I didn't sharpen my chisels. I usually sharpen my chisels every day. I hope I don't regret that. It's gotta be tightened. And flip it around the other way. I prefer coming in the opposite direction to that grain. My Honey's Handmade said he changed the spark plug in his generator and have it all gassed up good. You gave it a test run? That's good, man. That feeling of knowing your motor runs on something that's that important, that's a good feeling, man. That's why I'm all psyched right now. It's because I got working generators, man. I don't know if it'll hit or not, but I'm not getting rid of these. Once I've got these generators, they're going to be there for whatever. I'm going to keep them in good condition. I'm pretty good with small motors. I'm not a mechanic or nothing, but I like the small motors. I know how to keep them going for a long time. My lawnmower, this little snapper, I got them like Forrest Gump with this thing, man. I've had this thing since 2009, my snapper. I haven't switched to a 0 turn. I'm still cutting the grass like old school. Bar Run Forge, a good comment here. We added a Greenwood working shop to our setup last year and love it. I appreciate your work. Come check us out tonight, 6:30. There's a plug there. Bar Run Forge, 6:30. You gotta, and also My Honey's Handmade. If you want to throw your plug in I saw you were live at about 11 ish. I probably would have been live at the same time, but I had to run to that pawn shop and get this generator, man. I was afraid he would sell it. Maybe he wouldn't have. I don't know, because nobody, and it wouldn't have been because nobody wanted it. It would have been because nobody knew it was there. You know, that would have been the reason. Yeah, I wanted to take a little meat off of this kind of hilt area here uh, of this handle. It really feels good, man. If y'all had it in your hand, and once I add this squirrel leather handle to it, and I baseball stitch that on, which is part of my goal today. Once I add that, I think it's going to be real solid. Feel really good in the hand. Now, the thing I was thinking about with the delamination is that I can grind it down to that point, right? I'm not going to weld it. I don't know how to do that. I don't have a welding machine here. I'm not a welder. I have no experience welding, and even if I did it, the little soldering and welding experience I have from being an assistant to a HVAC guy is not enough to make me confident to weld something structural like the inside of a hatchet head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it down, I think, to that point on the head where the delamination seems to be an issue, because I wouldn't want to be swinging this around or having my kids swinging around if they hit something and then a whole part of the hatchet falls apart. I'm sure you're asking me. Barrun says, "What state are you in?" We're in the state of North Carolina right here, right now. If you're asking my honey's handmaid, I have to let him answer that question. Yeah, my honey's handmaid is, and I'll speak because we do all, in these kind of things, it's all text. He's a versatile woodworker. A lot of his channel's content is going to be around turning because he's a very good turner. So you see, he's got a lot of experience. He's good at explaining the process and how he, like, whenever I'm in there, he's very interactive with the chat. That's super important. Oh, okay, that's not far from here. About an hour and 10 minutes or so from here. What you're talking about? Yep. You're pretty close to that. Eastern North Carolina. Yep. Now I'm gonna soften this up a bit. I'm gonna take a chisel, just kind of real lightly, not putting a lot of weight on it. I got this spot right here. From there, I'm gonna put some weight on it, but I want to get that some little dimples from where I sawed it. I'm not as concerned about view numbers. I like view numbers, it's like everybody, but I can't just pull leather out to show the camera to get my view numbers up every day. Sometimes I have to start with a different task. So today I have to start with working this handle, and I got to push the algorithm or kind of like force it into the place I want it. Right now that's in between all of these different traditional crafts that we're doing here. I definitely looked at a welder today. I would like to learn. I don't like having skills that I don't know. I don't like there being skills I don't have. If that makes sense. Where did he say the town was? My son's from. Go back down. Winston Salem. Maybe I think I was thinking more like Chapel Hill and stuff like that. I'm from Virginia. I grew up in Virginia, so my North Carolina geography is not awesome. It's not great. You know. I was thinking Raleigh, Durham, not Winston Salem. If that makes sense. Titanium MIG 170 is a great machine for the price. Is that like is a MIG welder the same thing as like you know, like a tunnel welder, like, you know, where you can forge stuff? Is that the same thing? I know, like, I know nothing about this guy, so educate me. You know. Also, do hit that like button at the top of the screen. Here we go. So this is like an all handmade piece right here, and I've got the wedge in place on the top. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna force it in there because it already holds on. We tan this leather in my shop. This is not leather from some rando dyed leather. Neither is this. This is from a deer that I harvested myself. I tan the leather and I stitched this thing together. So if you don't like it, if you think it's ugly, but I made it. So I don't care. But regardless, um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this wedge in here. And then this is the handle right here. I'm going to show y'all how this fits. Yeah, that Blue Ridge Parkway is beautiful now. Oh, it's an arc welder. Okay, yeah, wrong way. Here. That I want to have too. Mike and I were talking this morning. I was, you know, wondering if this thing is if I have to grind off this to the piece to where it delaminated. And you may be able to answer this question too. Um, I was just like, I can probably take it down to that point, you know, re-edge it, and it still would have balance with the handle the way it is now. It's a little bit out of balance, kind of lanky the way it is anyway. So the delamination occurring at that spot may not be the end of the world. It'll basically be like a swingable chisel if I get it in the right. So that right there is a squirrel I harvested, right? And I tan the leather myself. I'm gonna trim this. We're gonna baseball stitch this on here so that you got nice, like, soft, man. Squirrel leather is the best, dude. I don't know if y'all have any experience with leathers, different kinds. Squirrel leather is like this nice, soft, thinnish, but really has a great texture. It's strong for, especially for the thinness of it. It's very strong. So we're gonna force this I kind of wet formed it to the handle this morning. It's in its long drying process. I'm going to slice all of this off, and ever so carefully, and it may not look perfect. I am going to stitch this from the bottom up. I'm going to put a lock stitch down here, and I'm going to see if I got my curved needle, and I'm going to put a baseball stitch up the handle here so that you have like a comfortable grip. It'll add a little reinforcement to the thinnest part of this handle, which is made out of ash. And then if I get to it, after putting the wedge in, slicing that off and gluing that up, because I'm actually going to glue up the wedge in the top, I will do another layer of leather here on this strap because it's just a little bit thin for my taste. Yep. So thanks for being here. I'm Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. We are working on this this traditional hatchet here, made out of spring steel. The head is made out of spring steel. I'm going to. Oh, I also meant to. I gotta. That's probably what I should do right now. I should go ahead and sand this down since it's now, the handle's now ready. Sand it down. I had a couple different ideas and we can test them out first before I do it. Y'all, if you're going to do a stain, you kind of want to know how it's going to look when you do it. That's an annoying noise right there. That is too, but a necessary noise. This whole tool basically made by hand, man. And then imagine, it's not just leather I picked up from the store. They actually made the leather myself, tanned the leather myself, so from scratch, man. It's a little quicker if I do it this way here and then sand it. Oh, hey, Daniel. On your different account. Oh, okay, I see. I see rebranding Wild Country. That's like a new brand. That's like a new Daniel's rebranding. It's warm out here today. I want to give this a good sanding so that it can take that. I'm gonna and I'll wipe down all of the wood dust with we'll get wiped off with mineral spirits. That'll kind of take off all that mess. What you up to today, Daniel? You ready for you guys getting a storm too? My honey's handmaid checked his generator before he came on here. Smart to do that. He said he put a new spark plug in there. Hopefully he got her started. See down here, I don't know if anybody from up in the frozen north is here and thinking we're pitiful, but everything collapses in the snowstorm situation down here. An ice storm especially, it's really bad. Literally collapses because our lines go down, and then ice is horrible for people. I'm pretty good at handling cold, but a lot of people I know are not, and that worries me about them. I'm one of these rare folks that prefers an outage for myself in the winter rather than in the summer, even though it's more survivable the other way, right? It's more survivable in the summer, theoretically, because you're not going to die of hyperthermia usually in the middle of the night. I want to take that lump off the bottom. I'm going to use the bandsaw, though, to do that real quick. Oops, sorry. All right, so here's my other idea, and I'm going to show you how we're going to test it. My idea is to use the process of ebonization to stain this handle basically a grayish black using I have this right here and I've been using it to dye leather. It's this is an oak gall. I don't know if any of the turners have ever turned one of these. I've got a whole bag full of them. They're basically mini burls, and they exist on oak trees when these wasps lay eggs in them, traditionally used for ink because they have a high tannin content. What I did was add water and then some uh, steel wool, and I have this deep black dye now. So what I'd like to do is uh, what I'd like to do is test out this mixture on another piece of ash, which is the type of wood this is. This is an ash handle, um, and if it looks good, we'll move on to actually using it as a pigment on the handle. But I want to test it first, so we'll do that first. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, folks. My name is Calvin. I just left the camera site, but I'm going to come back because I need to test this ash, this dye out. We're going to use another piece of the same wood so that we can get a better idea of what it will look like as a pigment. But I also want the wood to be the same texture, so I'm going to sand it real quick with whatever I sanded that with. Also, I got this wax today. Hopefully we'll get to waxing thread. This is soy wax, but I also have beeswax here with me. How you wax thread to work leather. I'm only doing this to test this pigment here. I want to make sure we got the same texture basically between these two pieces. They're from the same board, but the fact that this one's not sanded will affect how it takes on that stain, and I want it to be the same. What is that? Goon. What does that mean? I'm sorry. I have to read those occasionally. let's do this now. I'm gonna grab a brush. Basically, I'm gonna take some of this pigment and brush it on there. I think I've got a brush or some Q-tips around here. Use Q-tips. By the way, in case you're just here, which most people only stop by for about 19 seconds, but stop by long enough to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. I know people really come in and out really, really fast, but check this. We are working on a completely handmade item here, basically. This is a handmade hatchet. The head was made by Ron LaFleur in Canada, sent down here to the southern United States to me in North Carolina, where I created the handle for it. And I also created this sheath out of leather that I tanned myself, harvested the deer myself, tanned the leather myself. Well, also the raccoon, because this strap is made out of raccoon leather. So we try to make use of everything. We respect animals here. We're not disrespectful to the animals. All right, let's try to see what this looks like. I don't need like a dark stain. And after I stain it, I'm going to add, I should have used mineral spirits on it first, because I need it. You have to get the sawdust off before you can get a true idea of whether it's taking on the stain properly. So first get your sawdust off of there. Yep, I bought 2 generators today. Everybody said there was no generators. You know how that goes. And then, I called the pawn shop. They had generators. Brought them home. Cranked them, man. All right, so now that I've mineral spirited that, I'm going to try it again. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if we don't need it. It does make a little difference in how it absorbs. Now, if I take steel wool and I apply it with steel wool, it might be darker too. I'm wondering whether that might help too. But I don't know if I need much darker. Right? Once it gets in there, it should actually be chemically reacting with the tannins in the wood. Now, like I said yesterday, ash, which is this type of wood, isn't particularly known for a high tannin content, but all wood has little bits of them, if I'm correct. So what we're trying to do is use this chemical reaction. It's called ebonization when you use it on wood. Usually, what you hear is apple cider vinegar and what you call it, apple cider vinegar and steel wool is usually how it's done. It does look like it works, but it kind of makes it look dirty. Doesn't add a gray color to it. I don't know if it's going to do a whole lot. I might do it though, and then add oil over the top. That's what we'll do. You know. Is Carrie here? Carrie, welcome, friend of the program. Carrie, yeah, I saved my money, Carrie. So, in an emergency situation where I'm afraid we're going to lose all our meat in the freezer or whatever, because we have to put it outside, and I know it'll be cold, but the animals will want to eat it. And yeah, just having that generator, I think, gave me and Heather and I great peace of mind. So I hope I didn't just lose my wedge. I just had a wedge here. I think that's it. Yep. This is the wedge for this hatchet. I need to trim it just a bit, I think. I'll do it with the chisel. Everything here made by hand. So even the sheath sewn, made the leather. I made the leather. Everything on this thing is handmade. So, all right, let's take this out. I don't know that my vise will get that far closed. It doesn't like to close to that skinny of a distance. Where's my big hatchet? Hatchet slash hammer. I use it as a hammer, really. I'll have to find that in a little bit. I think I might do this like the old school way without being real risky here. Kind of keeping both my hands on this. I hate wood carving. It's not my thing, but because I will cut myself. That's why it's not my thing. I appreciate wood carvers. Let me make that clear. I want to mimic the width of the top of that axe as good as I can. Appreciate that, Carrie. That's true. Smash that like button. Smash it. Just a little bit more, I think. Also, if you're here and you like the content of like traditional craftsmanship and stuff like that, you can definitely become a member. There is a little $ down there, and I do members only content. I'm always shouting my members out if it's like an interaction thing for you. Like a lot of people like interacting and with the thing that they're being entertained by, you know. If I could watch the Beast games and interact with the contestants, I probably wouldn't be very positive because they're a bunch of like 25-year-olds, but and we don't necessarily get along. But I'll be like telling them to do stuff. Hey, don't trust him. Don't trust JC. Don't trust JC. Don't do it. They need to do something like that. That's why live streams are at the vanguard of entertainment because we interact with our clientele. We interact with the people that are viewing our content. All right, that is pretty well fit. So here's what I'm going to do now. I am going to now trim and glue this up because I think it's ready to get glued up. Whatever other grinding I do of this axe, I will do with the handle on. I think that's probably, and now after that I will stain. Oh, Carrie, thank you, thank you, thank you, Carrie. Do I have drumsticks so I can do a drum roll? Oh, I just hit my head on that clamp behind me. Carrie with the $20 super chat. Drum roll. That's my traditional thing. I do a drum roll. I don't have drumsticks, so I use dowels. 630 viewers? What is this? Like a good live stream or something? Who knew? Um, let's trim off this top here. Thanks for coming, everybody. So glad you're here. It is not a fluke that you're in this live stream. We run the best live stream on YouTube. Best live stream on best crafter live stream on YouTube. I don't know. It depends on what kind of entertainment you like, you know. But as far as crafters and stuff, this is the best live stream, no doubt. I love all these other folks, but I gotta be selfish about it and a little arrogant about my live stream. Super love my live stream. We're gonna mallet this in a little. I do not want to split my handle though, and I did not make I didn't make a screw hole, a drill hole down here in the bottom of this thing either. So, thank you, Carrie, for that super chat. We appreciate Carrie, longtime friend of the program. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. All right. Maybe I should glue then trim. I think glue then trim. I don't have, this is not very good here. I'll just stick my finger into this knot. It is not a brand name glue that you know so well. I could make my own hide glue here too. Maybe we should do that too. Since we're on this thing of doing everything from scratch. I do have hide enough to make glue. We're gonna butter this glue onto this thing here. So Ron sent me this hatchet head. Took a while because he takes his time when he makes stuff, and sometimes he forgets to get to his emails. No offense, I do that too. So we got wood glue on that, and so it took a while to get here. When it got here, I was ready to just hit the ground running. Like, give me that hatchet head. Let me get started on making that thing into a awesome tool. So that's what we've been doing every day, little bits on it. I don't like the way that fits in the back though. Let me see if it goes, if it fits better the other way around. It does a little bit. I'm gonna give it like a tap tap. I don't even need a mallet, but I will use my mallet to give it a little tap tap. Kind of acts like a little bit like a clamps. Howdy, everybody. Welcome. I'm Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Hey, check out my long form video I made about the tanning experience over the last couple months. Appreciate everybody being here. Happy to have you. Blessed to have you in the room. Thank you so much. Make sure that you do subscribe to. Double tap that screen, like this video. All right, here we go. Hey, that's the finger I just broke. I want that to happen. All right, wedged. I believe thoroughly wedged. I'm actually going to take my finger with some glue. I actually got a little bit right here. I'm going to wipe some glue on the top of that just to kind of fill those gaps in. Now, I'm not going to recommend that you go around filling gaps up with glue and sawdust, but here on the top of this, it might actually add a little bit to the aesthetics here, just to kind of clean up that I didn't do a great job with that wedge. I know a lot of guys that would do much better with this wedge, but it's okay. We do the best we can. There's some other things that I think I do better. You know how that is, man. What you're not good, it's this balance of skills. We're trying to learn the skill tree and all this stuff. Double tap that screen. Thanks again to Carrie for that super chat. Thanks again to YouTube for throwing this out to people so they can see us actually handcrafting stuff. Hopefully you're prepared for whatever storm is going to hit your area if you're in the United States. And if you're not, take some time and to make sure that you got some preparedness and batteries and maybe some idea of how you're going to keep warm in the scenario that you don't have power or something to that effect. It's kind of important that you have some sort of a plan there in place. I'm just looking at the unsightliness. I'm not worried. These aren't structural little bits of glue. I'm putting it on to clean the look up. And then I'm going to do some real, like, kind of new stuff for me. So it may take some focus. So hopefully I'll still be able to, like, focus on the chat like I want, And anyway, thank you. I'm super happy that stoked that everybody's here. Phil Clancy, welcome. If you're new and you enjoy this kind of handcrafted, traditional crafting and multidisciplinary type of approach to arts and things like that, do become a member. That's how the channel really stays afloat. That's how we keep providing content, is by support from members. That's basically it. And so now we have our handle wedged. What I think is wedged. Maybe it's not wedged good enough. Our handle is shaped. It's sanded. Now, if I'm going to do this ebonization, meaning stain the wood with this mixture that I have here, made out of oak gall and stainless, steel wool, not stainless at all, regular steel wool. I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and get some steel wool, test it on the other piece. If I have any left over here, I should have a piece or two. Try to think this stuff out before I do it, but I think that it'll look good. I don't like the super white kind of matte look on the wood, so I want to add some color, impart some color here. Let's try it on the scrap first. Yeah, it's gonna be darker if I actually apply it with the. And I have some vinegar to me. I'll throw some vinegar in there too. That might add more. So that is about what I'm gonna get. Let me add a little, and it seems to be darkening up as I'm looking at it. The grain is darkening a bit. Yeah. I don't hate that. Let me see if I can throw a little vinegar in the mix, because I have a bottle of vinegar down here, and maybe get a little more color. This is an oak gall, by the way. It's the way that in the ancient times that they made ink. They used these to make ink. So old traditional approach to creating a black pigment by taking an oak gall and doing various things, crushing it. I think they crushed it and added an acid to it. We test this just to make sure. It kind of is a little on the green side. I think it's going to impart more color here. So yeah, let me do that. I think that's where I want to go with it. I don't want to soak the handle really here, but I am going to I'm going to impart a little pigment into it, and then I'm going to oil it. Oh, I should have done this first. Hold on. Let's get the sawdust off of it. I'll sand it real quick. Oops, more than I bargained for there. Sometimes that happens. All right, and this gets that sawdust off and opens the grain up here. This is mineral spirits. You can do it with other safer solvents like a citrus solvent if you're into that kind of thing. All right, now that we've got it, basically we've got the grain open, and I've added the vinegar in here. I kind of want to make sure that's mixed around in there with the material, so I'm getting the max that I'm going to get. I think I broke my fingertip a few minutes ago, but it happens. You know, fingers get broken. It's not the end of the world. All right, yeah, I think that's working. It may take a while for that chemical reaction to happen, and I know ash does not have a lot of tannins in it, but the gall does. So we should get some color from that. We don't. We don't. It's fine. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna tell you what it did do to the leather, though. I put leather in there that was tanned, and it ebonized that leather. So I know it works as a dye. It may need time, though. You know, it's another piece of leather that I put in there just to see would it work as a dye for leather. Can we see what you all want to see? Let's see. Go back a second. Carrie, let me know what you want to see again. Um, Mayo. Wow, that's a lot. Savievic. Savievic. Savijevic, Serbian name, I think that's what that is. Welcome from Milo. Is that what it is? Mio Dragofas, Grado Savijevic. Savijevic. I'll do my best. I bet your English is better than my Serbian or whatever tongue it is. There's a bunch of Eastern European languages. What's up, Cedar, man? Behave yourself today, Cedar. Better behave yourself. Nah, I don't have to. Don't be too nice. You know what I mean? I think that actually imparted some color in that, believe it or not. We're going to now, I'm going to take this. I won't tell you it's a great company, but they need to pay me if they're going to be on my live stream. I got a little bit of stuff from them left in here. I'm going to put it on there. We're going to oil this thing. It's got some pentacryl, some tongue oil. It's like a lot of cool stuff in there. But we're going to put a little bit of this on here. This always makes wood really pop. I made this mixture kind of myself. It's the Real Milk Paint Company that makes this tongue oil, but then they also make this stuff called wood stabilizer called pentacryl. That's really helpful, man. Especially if you're working with semi-rotted wood. I used to cover everything with it. As a matter of fact, I use this. I tried to stretch it out for a long time. I put it on my bunk beds that I built. Long time. Now, the part of the axe that's getting pinched by the vise needs to be stained too, right? Whenever you stain something, you need to stain it 360 degrees because the wood is going to react and move according to the moisture that's applied to it. You need to make sure if you're staining the top of something, you're also staining the bottom of it. So don't start staining something if you can't. You got to walk away really quick, and you only can do one side. Not a good idea. I mean, you could end up okay, but that's how it is with a lot of things. Come on, liquid. There we go. Kind of became a liquid paste over years. I've had this mixture for like 5, 6, maybe even 7 or 8 years. I've had it for a while. been in a couple different sheds and gotten used a number of times too. Waterproofs your wood, the tung oil in there. Also keeps the insects away. Insects don't like tung oil very much. I wouldn't be surprised to wake up tomorrow morning and see this axe handles turn gray or something. It may not, but sometimes when you do the ebonization process, like I did, it takes a little while for it to actually sink into the grain. It's a reaction that takes place inside the wood. All right, so this thing is so close to finished. I hope I didn't just mess up this. This is a squirrel piece. This is like the entire squirrel hide right here, okay? I just rounded it off. So what you got here is actually a squirrel that I harvested and then tanned with pecan and some acorns and some bark. So what you have here is kind of bark tanned squirrel that's been wet formed, basically wet formed to the shape of this handle. So it's going to be now applied to the handle as I show you here, and you'll see. And I don't want to get schmutz all over everything here. All right, so this morning I've been working this piece of squirrel hide, as silly as it seems because it's small. I've been working this squirrel hide for 2 months, this little piece of leather. So now it's a little bit even bigger than what, because I changed the size of the handle. It's a little large. So I need to reform it to this handle here. And I'm going to do a baseball stitch once I shape it. This wet forming thing that I'm doing kind of right now is usually done with like on larger stuff with like a press on a form, right? And this one's kind of a little out of shape because I changed the shape of the handle. So we're gonna move this leather around it and just pull on it, and I'm gonna clip it once I get it kind of into shape. And it's gonna be cut, and it's got to be cut real carefully. And then stitches will be placed in this. It's going to be the most comfortable tool I've ever worked with, I think. It has a great design, I think, in terms of the axe head. More pressure is applied on a smaller surface area, right? Where's my slipper? What is he doing? I'm trying to get this bottom part to pull against the handle. It's a little oversized. Carrie said, "Let's get him to 100 likes and show our appreciation that he's doing things that we do, not get to see a lot." Cedar, and thank you, Carrie. Yes, let's get me to 100 likes, please, please, and thank you. Cedar said, "We made red Play-Doh yesterday. My kid made a YouTube logo." Hey, good for your son. Oh wow, today is a career day and views wise. Great, guys. Glad to see everybody come out Dad's workshop. We like to fill the meadowlands and more than that. And just so you know, send an email to YouTube that live streamers should be paid like video producers, because our content is basically, it's not the same as a long form video, but we do a lot of work. It's just a different kind of work, and they don't pay us the same. Just so you know, just want to let everybody know that. If I get 100,000 views, I make $2. Can you imagine that? Um, so in a long form video gets 100,000 views, they can make $500 sometimes or more. I did a live stream and YouTube made $95,000 of ad revenue off my live stream, and they paid me $1.65. That's how much they made, 95,000. How much did I make? 195. So let YouTube know that they're not fair to their creators, because they're not. Thanks for letting everybody in here, YouTube, but I gotta let everybody. I gotta tell the truth. I'm not a liar. I'm a truth teller. So we depend on support from our viewers. That's the only way. YouTube has the money. They could do it. All right. So that's what the handle is gonna be. But now I gotta basically I need to like emboss a line here, and on the other side emboss another line, and then make some cuts. And it should be right, I need it right in the middle too. I want it to be smack down the middle of that. And then we're going to do what's called a baseball stitch, and we're going to stitch this up the axe handle, and it'll be a comfortable grip. What do y'all think about that? Sound good? Good. We're going to do that. All right, so it's going to be a little bit of a process down on this table here. I need to wipe this table a little bit, get my sewing kit out. Where did I put your lid, huh? Not that you have much liquid in you anyway, but I put the lid somewhere funny. We'll figure that out in a little bit, I suppose. All right, here I have some wax. That's soy wax right there. Oh, hey, Summer. Summer's in here lounging. This will probably be food safe, so if you wanted to use this as some way to coat cutting boards, you could probably do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to use a heat gun. This is not a gimmick. There's a reason for this, by the way. Uh-oh, a car came up the street. Beeswax and soy wax right here. I don't need it all the way melted. I want to show y'all this process of waxing thread. So if you're threading something leather, you need to have thread that's waxed, and this helps protect the leather from your threads, and protects the leather from water as well. So important process. And here I have a spool of red thread, and I want to show the process to you. I want to make sure I don't burn my fingers doing it though, because I already smashed my finger in the pulley of my bandsaw earlier. It was really stupid. I'm pretty safe with my bandsaw, but I left the door open on the bottom and dropped something in there. This is linen thread, and we're going to wax it. So we want to take the thread. I've seen it done in a couple different ways. I'm going to use something to kind of dip it down in there. Probably not that though. Just use a piece. I'm going to use a piece of wood to kind of push it down. You can use anything here and push the thread down. And once it kind of is in there, you're going to want to take it and run it through your fingers. But I'm going to do that second. Adds another layer of protection to your leather and to your and waterproof. This is a little thinner than the thread I'm using now. I haven't used any of this thread yet. It got good reviews. All right, so here's what you want to do once you got it's warm enough, not going to burn your fingers, stuff like that. You want to run your fingers down the thread. You don't want it clumped up, right? So you want to kind of, if you have fingernails, use those. It's going to get in the nooks and crannies if you press your fingers down. Get some wax on your fingers, push it down the thread. It's not rocket science, obviously. I'm waxing thread, y'all. This is a technique you need to know when you're sewing leather. Leather is not just a fabric; it's a skin, right? It's a natural substance, collagen and tannic acid, a combination organic material. And the best kind of thread that you can use is going to be waxed linen thread. I'm not going to wax the whole spool. Obviously, we'd be here all day, right? Hands are moisturized. I wouldn't consider soy wax uh, a moisturizer. Not like something I want to use, but beeswax does a great job of as a protectant, skin protection. So you could probably use this. This is food safe. Uh, Warm up some olive oil in beeswax. It'll turn into a yellowish substance, and put it on all of your wooden items that need to be food safe, because that is the best. And actually use it as lip balm too. You don't have to use all that chemical stuff they use. No petroleum, all of that. Sorry to sound like a hippie, but yeah, yeah, you know, we try to do things that natural way here. All right, next thing we do, I'm gonna cut off some of this thread. Now this doesn't really match, to be honest with you, the thread that I've used thus far on the axe. So I'm tempted to use it, but at the same time, it's a little thinner than the thread I've been using to make this axe. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thread and cut it off and put it aside. I think I may use it depending on what my results are here. I'm going to take this piece of wax thread, put it in my pile of stuff that you all can't see that's completely disorganized. Um, and then we are going to, now that I've got this pinched, I'm going to maybe even pull it a little more down here because it feels like it's still not exactly grabbing that angle the way I want it to. But where I'm going to put the what do they call it, back stitch or lock stitch, is going to be down here. I might even put one on the top. I see, do I have a curved needle here? Should. So it was in a pack that came in here, but I don't know if I have it. It's going to make this trickier. You generally want to have a curved needle. So there was this pack that came with this set. Dang. And it had a curved needle in it, but I set it down somewhere. So I'm going to have to do this with a straight needle. Now, the holes that you want to do a baseball stitch, you want to use one of these guys right here. I'm going to try to do it properly, right? Rather than these irons, because the irons are going to poke triangular shapes in there. And my understanding is when you do a baseball stitch like this, you want circular holes. So this is the kind of iron that you want to use. Man, I don't know what I did with my I had a curved needle, a couple curved needles, and these are my upholstery needle and what you call it, a glover's needle there, and my knife here. This is going to help me establish some edges. This is waxed thread, and then my awl, which I've been poking myself with on a daily basis. Miss Heather showed me how to use the threader. But when we do this, this needs to be precise. Put these readers on so I can see. Carrie, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great, man. We're 102K views. Thank you for being here today at Dad's Workshop, y'all. Awesome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. We are gonna have to try to do this with a. Oh man, there's a, if Heather sees it inside, there's a pouch that had, like, you know, it's kind of corny looking. It said all the different needle types in it. May have accidentally been thrown away, unfortunately, but it had my other needles in it, curved needles, like a backed curved needle and stuff. That's really what I need to do this baseball stitch. I could probably take a needle and bend one, you know, but don't really want to do that particularly. Let's do this though. Let's put it back on the handle for a second because I'm gonna make some definite marks in here. All right, this is what I told myself I would do. I would find the distance. It's like 24, it's 24 millimeters. So 12 millimeters to the, should be 12 millimeters to the spot. Well, yeah, approximately 12 millimeters to the spot that I want to get to here. That's 13. I'm going to do like 11 and a half millimeters just to leave a tiny little gap. And then this tool right here, which I forget what you call this, but this is kind of an important tool. Trying to combine my woodworking abilities with this new skill I'm learning, leatherwork. That actually almost did it with just this tool. That was right, pretty much all the way. This is going to help me cut it when I need to do that in just a second. It's really important with the baseball stitch, I think, is my understanding. Really important with the baseball stitch that you have even, like, your whole layout on each side of your piece of leather at the seam is really even, because it could probably look pretty sloppy. I can imagine it looking pretty sloppy if it's not. But we may end up like that because I'm a beginner. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody. It is warm here, very warm here right now. I know we're about to get some cold weather, but at the moment, still pretty warm. But I don't know if she was asking me that, Carrie. You're asking somebody in the chat. All right. I'm gonna actually take my X-Acto knife and cut this up on here. I think. Flow for Gaming Flow 120. um, I'm in the Sotenon, Sotenon, Sotenons, west of France. As I told you all earlier, this is a piece of leather made from a squirrel. So it is really awesome. Like I've heard squirrel leather was good, and now I kind of know why. It really has a great like feel to it. It's thin, but it's supple, and um, just I do understand. I've heard it's good. I've read that. Yeah, let's do this. I might take this off for this. I'm afraid I'm gonna cut onto the other side here. We're here in North Carolina, Eastern United States. If you're asking where we are, it carries in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Yeah, so he 10 degrees Celsius is like um what in the 40s or something. So it's not too much different than what you're dealing with there, Carrie. You're a little bit colder. You're more like 0 Celsius, right? Now that's what I got. That's what I ended up with. Remember, I made the leather myself, guys. So we can do the best we can here. Doesn't look as good as maybe I wanted it to, but that's okay. Try to, I always aim for perfection. If I end up with mediocrity, then usually I'm okay with it. All right, so now we can't. I couldn't have clamped it when I did the stitching, anyways. It was going to have to be pulled tight by the stitches. And wow, did I not leave enough? That does not make me happy. Well, it's going to be what it's going to be. That was really stupid. I think maybe if I wet it and pull, I need to make a line that's got to be far enough back from that from here that I can. I'm so scared now. It's gonna have to get wet. I'm gonna have to get it wet and stretch it basically around that part. Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe they were in a plastic thing. It was kind of cheap, so it may have gotten thrown away. But I will do my very best to try to do this with straight needles. It is. I understand it is very difficult with a straight needle. Uh, so I've seen these done with both alternating holes on the sides and also um, lined up holes. I understand you're supposed to go down and through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread a needle here. I'm going to make some holes on here. I'm going to find a spot away from the middle. We can zoom in down on the board and kind of. It's we're gonna sew it while it's wet. It's kind of like a forced. Whenever you do a baseball stitch, it's almost like a forced wet forming of leather. We are gonna get it. I'm gonna rehydrate it, and we're gonna. It's gonna get pulled very, very hard by the stitching. So this is tricky, man. Tricky craft. This is. All right. 1 second. Take a quick water break here. This is Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Please do stick around. Double tap that screen, like this video. It's career day, best viewing day we've ever had. So I'm glad to have you as a participator. 1 second. I'm gonna take a little sip of my water here, and we'll keep it going. thinking it needs like I mean, you don't want it too far from the edge. I think a half a centimeter is probably enough support. So I'm gonna make a line there too. I think with another tool, and I don't want to do it with anything that's gonna actually cut it. I just want to kind of run a. I might do it with the slicker. That might be the best tool to do this with. Kind of the point of the slicker. The other thing we could use would be a like that chalk marker that I generally use. I don't know where it is right now. And this flexible fabric, it makes this tricky here. So we're gonna call it a half. Oops. Sorry guys. Sorry I didn't hear anything. I'm gonna go a half a centimeter or 5 millimeters. I think that's enough support there. I could see this being really hard to make look pretty. I don't know. Probably is like some finesse to this. I get the feeling this is harder than it looks. Let's put it like that. So 5 millimeters there. Let's mark at the bottom too. 5 millimeters there. All right. Now, because we want these holes to be circular, we are going to use this iron here, this wheel. And I am nervous. Seem to work there. Hopefully we can get them all lined up. I think maybe good enough for government work, possibly. What do y'all think? Good enough for government work. Now, I might use my awl to go through these and kind of widen them because they are tiny. They are tiny. You barely see them. I think if I gotta wet this again already. It's getting a little dry, and we don't want it to. We want it to keep its form on the piece too. I'm gonna make go with the awl on the bottom probably, and make sure that I put a lock stitch. I think on the top and bottom, kind of before I want to put one on the top and bottom before I even start, hold it in place a little bit. But man, this could be a lot harder than it looks. I guess people could be witnessing an epic fail, but we could be witnessing Calvin have an epic success here as well. What do we got here? Calvin is making a hatchet handle. Scoodoobie, welcome back. It's been a while. Rob, how you doing, buddy? Carrie's in the house, also looking for anybody else. DT, it was Rob. I already said Rob. So welcome. Yeah. Yep. So I'll show you there, Rob. This is the and Scoodoobie. This is the handle right here. This is the hatchet. Made the handle from ash. Made the Ron from Homemade 1970 made the forged the axe head, and then I made the leather uh, sheath for it. Now, and it's made out of my own leather that I made myself. So I tanned this leather myself. Part of it is a deer, part of it is a raccoon. Like the strap here is raccoon leather, and this is deer. This is a squirrel. So we got like three different whole different animals on here, man. And it's all been tanned by me. It was all leather that I tanned myself here at Dad's workshop. So shout out to everybody. I don't take any views for granted. I got to remember that, y'all. Appreciate everybody being here. Let's thread this needle, these two needles. Now Heather taught me how to thread these, but the way that she showed me to do it, like pulling to use the threader, I wonder if that's still the same way you do it with leather, because there's like a way they showed me, and it wasn't the way like my mother taught me to thread a needle back in the day. This is waxed linen thread here, by the way. That's what we're, and it's around my vise, and I need a pretty good length of it, I think. What I'm doing now is I'm taking I'm going to make like an S shape. I'm going to go through the thread on the needle here, if I can do it. I do remember how Heather told me to thread it, so I will try that with the other one and see if I get kind of the same result. I'm gonna do like two arms lengths. I think, guys. Like, boom. And I'm gonna pinch it, and go another arm's length out. That's a little more than I usually do, but it's kind of a lot of stitching. Bonjour. Yes. Flow for gaming. Flow 120 is over there in the western part of the front of France, Scoodoobie. So that's why, hence the bonjour, bienvenue. Probably should put that further down. At the moment, I'm doing all my stitching by hand. What's it? It was Baby Kisses. Shout out Baby Kisses, uh, member of the program and friend Baby Kisses out there wherever she's at, up in Wisconsin somewhere. Um, was hoping she would pop through, being that she's kind of an expert on sewing and these kind of crafts. So this is what we're going to do. We're actually going to use my vise for this here, right? I'm going to do my best. This is not something I've done before. I've never done a baseball stitch before, and I have very little experience sewing. So let's give this a shot. And there's no way to kind of do it without the piece being here. So we need to let's moisturize it too a little bit. Remember, I've got my holes at least mapped out, but I'm gonna probably have to use the awl a few more times. Um, should moisture from the flesh side. Don't spray the grain side, especially if you've oiled the leather. It's gonna just repel it anyway. All right. Now we should be able to get some more flexibility from this. It's been bark tanned, but I also brain tanned it. So I applied animal brains and all of that stuff that traditional people would have done to get it to where I can work it. Now, I might be able to use my vice to assist me with this a little bit. I am a little bit worried because I don't know if I left enough material here to pull this together. It may rip in the process. All right, let's do our best. That's all we can do. Just do our best. Probably another way to do it would be to oil it and then push it down with the slicker. What I think I did was I just cut too much of it off. I might go one hole in here. Where's my all that? It's too far up right now. Yeah, that's better. That is better. Yep, yep. All right, less nervous, less nervous. So it's got to be further down and make sure that that seam meets. Scoodoobie said, I'm recharging my batteries by hanging out with you good folks. Well, we are happy to have you recharge your batteries with us. That's such a nice thing to say. Now, I'm going to go down through here on, I believe, both sides. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Kind of want to make sure I have half and half my thread on one side. My thimble fell down here yesterday, too. Where my thimble went? Might have to use those little gloves. It's got to be down here. Yesterday, I remember it fell. I said, where did it fall into the black hole? This is the lid on that stuff. So I found one thing. You know, you find one thing, you lose another. But if I have to push stuff really hard, then I will use those little mini finger gloves. It's going all the way around my stump here. So I made sure I got a lot of thread because uh, it's. I think this takes a lot of thread. What do they call this? A tie off or something? They have a name for this, but and I went down through. That's what I want to do. Be consistent with how I do it. Yeah, leather's not the same as fabric, y'all. Definitely a thimble is a tool you want to have here, and I have one somewhere. Just misplaced it. Fell under the bench yesterday. You can do this actually probably without. Let's see, that's two different. I'm on two different spaces there. You can do this without the needles being on. It probably could be done by pushing through with an awl, and a lot of times done by tying it off. I'm going to go back through a couple times probably. Rob's got a question. All right, Rob. Which is better to work with, deer hide or bovine? I've never worked with cow or bovine. I understand that if you're talking about a bison, that's a huge hide. So if you're not experienced, you want to start with a smaller animal. Deer is a thinner leather. Bovine, cowhide is a very thick leather. Um, as far as bovines go, bison are one of the thickest and strongest, most difficult hides to tan because there's so much material. They're the only hide that you can't tan with the animal's brain, right? There's not enough brain in a bison to actually tan it. Good question. So I have not, although my family, for many years raised Angus cows. That's what my family did. That was their business and so forth. I need to move this left side up a little bit. I think they never like kept the hide. They were sold off to at auction and so forth. So I never saw cowhide being turned into leather. I know that there's this guy, Stephen Edholm, on um, YouTube, one of the more popular bushcrafting guys. Uh, I'll forgive that he's a white guy with dreads for that, though it bothers me to see that. Not gonna lie, not because I'm racist, but because it's what you call that? What do you call that? Appropriation. It's not a European thing, dreadlocks. So let's be real. All right. Now I understand what we should be doing is going down and through. Though I have seen people, I've seen examples of guys going up and through. But the way that this, let me tie this off real quick. This is stupid. I'm talking too much. Uh, this is why it's tough to do with a straight needle because I got to go back through these. This is maybe one thing I can't do when I'm talking. So I go out of my way to learn these skills like on my own time so that when I come on here, I'm able to like yap while I do it. But right now, I think I actually have to shut up and like focus on tying this off properly. You can tie it like a shoelace, right? I'm going to go through it. Doesn't even matter. I'm going to go through a couple times. It's just getting caught on everything down here. I've got all these different implements, parts of my clothing, and all of this stuff I'm learning here. Anything you can kind of do here to pull the leather together and have a stop, like basically a back stitch, I think is what it is. Um, now I've got, I think I want my thread on opposite sides here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go down through here one more time. And it's kind of my fault for putting this much slack on here, but I don't want to thread needles if I don't have to later on. Not expecting perfection here, not expecting perfection. Making sure that's coming out, that's going in and out that way. And this is really tricky there, right? Because it's a tight stitch too, so going back, I don't think going back in is an option right now. Not from that direction. All right, what I got to do is I got to free these needles up here and get them back through these holes. I'll go do this way, this way. Man, I wish I had my curved needle. I think I could do this better. I'll have to order one today if I can't find it. All right, now I need it in that place to start there. And I'm going to put this one back through under here. Probably the best way to handle this would be if you can't get that needle through, to use your awl. Make sure that you've got a hole you don't go through thread. Man, it's tricky, really, really tricky here. Taking my fine motor skills and putting them to the absolute test. Yeah, that should be. Hopefully, I didn't pull through the thread there. All right, now all that was just to get the back stitch, basically get it started, right? And it's already wanting to rip thread. So I'm learning. This is my own leather. Like I didn't buy any bark tan leather, so my leather's a little thinner. This is a squirrel hide. All right, cross your fingers. Now let's go. I think we can do this. We're gonna try to go down through, and as I need to, I'm gonna keep my left. I want to keep my left needle, and I'm also gonna turn this vise too. I think I'm gonna turn it so that it's facing you guys. and I can look down at it. And that shouldn't happen. I don't want that to happen. And as I'm doing this, I might have to rehydrate it.
There we go. I can hear it. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Do you want to try the microphone? Hello? Check. Mic check. Now, one thing that's giving me a bit of a headache here with this is I got a knot in one of my threads, so it's pulling. I have to, every time I pull my like right thread through or whatever, it's knot has to go through the hole, which probably isn't real great for the hole. But you know, I don't think I'm going to rethread at this point. It seems to be working. All we're doing is going back and forth. So we made a stop stitch or a back stitch in the beginning to make sure we anchored the thing. We cut the leather to be basically the seam to run directly up the middle of the back, and now we're basically doing, and that's the knot that I'm pulling through right now, right? And what I don't want to happen is it's a rip, right? I'm worried it's going to rip. So if I have to, I can like free it up with that awl. It's actually not coming out bad right now yet. See that? See the hole over here. I do not see the hole. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and make a hole right across from it then. Enjoy the saddle stitch. It's very satisfying, but this one seems even, I think probably when you're done, even more satisfying because you basically sewed something on really tight and then it form fit. You know, you're using this to like, I could see using this knot as an actual technique to widening holes out as you're without using an awl, but right now it makes me nervous. So if you see me do that, it's because the knot is in there and I'm trying to. Whoops, I should have gone over, right? No, that's right. That's right. That's right. Just realized that was a handmade axe head. What did you make the handle out of? This is made of Idaho Cody. This is made of ash wood, um, and then deer leather and raccoon leather. And this is squirrel leather right here. That's being baseball stitched onto the handle. So ash wood and various animals. Um, you know that when I rehydrated it, the little spike holes are harder to see now. So I should have probably, if I could do this again, you learn. You know, there's a learning curve. You go back and you learn stuff. And what I would do is go punch all those holes with the awl first. It's my bad side. I cannot see where those are. I don't like that hole. Man, I don't like that hole at all. This is gonna have to be done very carefully. I think one at a time now with the because I don't want to make extra gaps in the leather. Yeah, so alum aluminum sulfate, which I carry around here. I also have a big bag of it. That's alum right there. It's food grade material, but it really, really, I'll tell you what it does to hides. It dries them out a lot. So if you're not prepared for what kind of it's gonna make it very, you want to make sure you stretch it when you put alum on there, like stretch it on a rack. Uh, oh, that was wrong, right? No, that was correct. Aluminum sulfate, to be particular. Now, there were some native groups in the United States that used alum. It's not, it's called tawing when you use alum. It's actually not called tanning. It's called tawing, Tawing. Some people mistakenly say tawning. I've even done that before. It is called tawing. It is a good way to maintain the hair, but also I could show you if I had a minute. I'm kind of super busy with this at the moment, but if I had a minute, I would show you. I use alum, and um, especially when I'm trying to maintain the hair on the hide. Um, so, but the problem I've had is, as I mentioned, is it dries it out to a point, it shrivels it up, almost as if it's some sort of beef jerky. Uh, I don't know. I feel like I'm in the wrong place right here. Might have a little mistake here, and I don't know how I'm going to correct that particularly. Open this up. This got to go here. So there's like an align. Now that I can't see the hole where they were, it's causing me to have alignment issues with the laces. Like I started, it's not beautiful. It wouldn't have been perfect anyway, but now I'm ending up with a situation where I can't see the because I re-wet rehydrated it. I can see them a little now. Let me see if I can get the let's see if I can get the you can't miss either because then so if I'm doing this again, there's a lot of things I'm going to do differently for sure. I definitely learned something today. I think. All right, what happened here was like I skipped a whole. Just got to go all the way back through. I want to make sure this is correct. I think I can handle it. Now I think I figured it out. And there that goes. All right. Now I'm back to where I think these threads are even, or they're almost both on the same side, aren't they? All right. And that's because I think this one needs to go there. That's what needs to happen now. I look forward to getting better at this. I really do. First, I'll start by not getting knots in my thread. You know, start with that. Yeah. All right. I think we're online now. I'm going to take this all and do a couple of these. I want to make sure that I have these ready and I don't lose sight of them. Welcome, Wes. Sorry if I'm not as good about answering questions here. I'm doing the very best I can here. Yeah, so there's a group of natives that live in the Native Americans that are First Nations, depending on what you want to call it, that live in the desert Southwest that kind of had access to alum salts in their natural state. But that's basically the only group. I think other than that, it's more of a modern approach. It's not terrible because it's not using chrome. It's just a metal, so it's a finite resource. This leather grip's going to add elegance to this thing, but it's also going to add comfort to the grip, especially this squirrel leather. It's super, super soft. It has a great soft texture to it. And like I said, and seems to be working, moisturize your leather, depending on what leather you have. This is leather I made here, so it's very thin. This is not 8-ounce leather, but whatever it is, if it's veg tan leather from the store, it doesn't matter. You want to probably moisturize it a bit before you. What did I do there? Something wrong. Something wrong here. I'm gonna go back. That's why I don't talk. Why I do this? Don't know what I'm doing enough. Yeah, I think maybe I just missaw that. I don't know, but I think this would probably be right. It should be going under and out here. Now, my understanding is it actually supposed to go down and through. I don't think I can pull that off right now um, because, and again, these holes are starting to fill in because leather is used to be a living thing, living organ, and now it's getting remoisturized, so it's kind of like remembering to be flexible. And so now we have the holes that I made are closing up, and that's becoming a problem for me. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. I'm Calvin. Please do click that like button, double tap. Yeah, it's a very strong stitch. Uh, yeah, I'm sorry to those that didn't hear me while I was muted. Yeah, super strong stitch. This is called a baseball stitch. If I just did that right, where the heck is this going? All right, there we go. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what I just did. I think I thought this was on the other side. How many times do y'all see me pull a needle back through the hole? Maybe next time I'll be better at this. This is good for your brain. What do they call that? Neuroplasticity, to learn new skills. Right. So many stitches. Like somebody just got a shark bite. Hole is large and makes me super nervous because it should not be that big. What the heck? Hold on. That's the problem. It's just. Oh, am I missing stuff? Usually when Heather comes out, it's because I missed somebody's comment. Hopefully that's not the case here. Hey, what's up, man? How are you doing? Yep, 142 likes. That's how we roll. Where's that all that I just had? That's what happens when you make stuff 100% from scratch. You make your own leather. You show everybody. People feel invested in the process, and they come around. They check their alerts. They're like, "What is that guy going to do today? Is he going to talk trash about people again? Is he going to be mean? Is he going to be nice? Are those people that he was talking to the other day going to come back? Are they going to like him? Are they going to be nice?" Well, here's what happened with that. None of them came back yet. So always, be kind and don't burn any bridges, guys. If you learn anything from that, don't burn bridges. But defend your girl too at all costs. You know what I mean? Not. Law for Gaming Glow says I must go. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for all in French. Au revoir, tout le monde. Et merci pour tout. Merci pour tout. Au revoir, tout le monde. Et merci pour tout. Hey, I have Ron come in here. Ron speaks French. That's his first language. Well, Ron's doing his own live, so he wouldn't be able to do that, would he? Yeah, I know it was a misunderstanding. Thank you. Thanks, Rob. Man, I appreciate that. You caught that real quick, man. Yeah, thanks, Rob. It makes me feel better, dude, actually, to have you in my corner for sure. Yeah, I just was trying to make sure that I didn't let any I can't allow people to insult my person like that. You know what I mean? Everybody should understand. I think even they did, as much as it might have upset them, they kind of understood where I was coming from. That one don't look as good there, does it? Thanks, Rob. That means a lot, man. This needs to be over. This is part I forgot to acknowledge. You got to make sure that the thread that you're using. This is another, 2 needle threading here. So the thread that you're using, oh, that one should have gone over there. I don't want to go anymore until I get this right. Gosh, it's almost like every time I talk. No, that's right. That should be right. Thanks for being here, Cedar. Glad you didn't say anything, any sexual innuendos. Appreciate that, buddy. Though I don't mind that much. But you know, it's a family show. It's a family show. Don't do it too much. Just a little bit. Just enough to like, just enough to like irritate people. I don't think this is a job a sewing machine could do, right? Can you sew? Can you sew something on like this with a sewing machine? This is like one of those deals where you have to do it by hand. I missed that one a little bit. Take your time with that all. I did not do a good job right there. Hopefully, y'all by looking here, Caleb's here. First of all, Caleb, let me say a huge thank you to Caleb for going and watching my live form video, long form video. Maybe Heather can drop the link in there and we get a few more views of that. My long form video about tanning and making timestamp comments in there. Thank you, Caleb. And it was genuine. He wasn't just doing it because he actually was finding things about my video he liked and time stamping those spots in the video. I put one comment and I was like, genius, man. That's what you got to do. So whenever I see a friend come out with a long form, you know, I put a lot of effort in. I'm going to make sure I do that too. So Caleb, thank you. I salute you and I appreciate you watching my long form video and making those uh, those comments with the timestamps in them, so people can just click that timestamp and go to that spot in the video. In case you're aware that that is something on YouTube you can unaware that is something on YouTube that you can do. If you watch the video, Caleb, this is that squirrel that you saw me pull out of that. It was a brine, a vinegar brine in the video where I was talking about the difference between um, the muskrat and the squirrel. This is that squirrel. This leather came from that squirrel. Thank you, man. I like that. Appreciate it. Said his hair was standing on, and I was like, man, that's awesome. I'm gonna watch it. You inspired me to watch my own video. I was getting you like almost brought a tear to my eye, man. Art is important, man. Art for the sake of art. We don't do it for money. We don't do it for recognition. We do it because it gives us this feeling we can't describe, right? That's why we create art. That's why we make creation. You know, that's why we make things and make pieces that are beautiful and carve things and build things. We do that because it gives us a sense, this sense that comes with our humanity about building something for people and for ourselves and for others that we can appreciate, look at, and enjoy that observer experience that we have as humans. So thank you, Caleb, and anybody else who has not seen my long form video. It's only 5 minutes. It's shout out to John Specker out there. He's not here. He won't hear because he doesn't even have the internet. The guy who did my music, unless he's at like in town, in his town in Vermont, and they have the internet, and he's like at an internet cafe, has a landline. So salute John Specker too for being a true one out there, living without internet and mostly electricity. That's the guy who did my music for the video. Traditional fiddler John Specker, one of the best. This is actually a waxed nylon, so I think it's cotton thread that's been waxed. This came with the kit. I have other thread I waxed on the actual live to show people how it's waxed, but this matches the other thread on my piece here. And when I finish and I'm almost done, I will show you all. I'm super happy with it. I mean, it's not perfect. I'm looking at you all can see it's not perfect. The seams aren't perfect. The threads aren't perfect. But I'm so happy with it regardless. Why is that? I don't know. I don't know. Also excited that I got this generator today when really there weren't supposed to be any generators left around. Um, you just got to call the pawn shop, guys. If you learned anything here today and you are in the United States of America, the contiguous 48 states, you know, I recommend that you not go to Lowe's first if you're looking for a generator and it's about to be an emergency. Call a pawn shop, dude. They've got them and they have to work. They don't buy them from anybody unless they do. I was about to say crackheads. I'm trying to keep this family oriented. They don't buy stuff from anybody who when it's alcoholics sell stuff at the pawn shop too, man. That's kind of the most I ever saw where dudes like that. Got to get a bottle of booze. Unfortunately, we know a few of those. I mean, I grew up with that around, so maybe have enough thread to finish this. Maybe not. You want to pull it tight as you're going. Hopefully, I don't rip through anything here toward the end. And I say toward the end because I'm kind of getting it, so hopefully it's not doesn't take as long to get here to the end of this. This is going to be a real comfortable grip for the hand. I already designed the handle to be, comfortable. Wish I had a curved needle here because that really is good for this. It's like stitching somebody. It's because you're stitching into a shape. Next time I will not get a knot in my thread. Hold on, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I feel like I did something wrong here. I think you're much less likely to get a blister on your hand when you are chopping wood with an axe that has this nice soft squirrel leather handle, and it's ergonomically designed to be comfortable and have that weight, distributed the right way around it. Oh man, hold on, come on back, come on back. Samuel, welcome. Peter, Tomas, welcome. Ooh, that ripped through. See, you got to be careful. I'm getting toward the end, and it's going to get pulled on more. I'm wetting this here because the leather's going to want to bend for me more. in that scenario. I have an idea. Calvin, I gotta text you and send this picture of glue for leather. Helps keep it really intact. That's what I use on my walking stick. Could be useful. Yeah, I've heard that there's some glues that will help this process. They did say glue the threads in too, and I forgot that. That's one other with the baseball stitch. It's so permanent that they're like, hey, you might even want to apply some glue. I'm afraid I would get sloppy with that, unfortunately. So I stay away from putting the for now. I'm going to just worry about stitching it properly. But yeah, definitely. You got my number, man. Send me a text. Okay, that was not right. That was not right. This needs to be out here. It's like I told you. I got to make sure I got the right needle on top when I do this. There we go. This is going to be the tricky bit because it's where the handle flutes out here at the end. There's like a little fluting going on, and it could test the strength of this little bit of leather that it has for support. Brush it on the wood, brush it on the leather. I have Heather take notes for me right now, so that this cool stuff that is told to me. This is called collectivism, y'all. When you have brains around you that can teach you things, the society becomes stronger because as a group we're stronger than we are as individuals. This is just a fact. See, Caleb has information. Caleb's always been good at giving me insights into things. Um, he's an observer, man. He watches stuff, and he's all about improvement and things like that I appreciate and admire. If I didn't just put that in the wrong freaking spot. Gets a little easier to stitch as you. I'm gonna use the awl. I don't want to rip that hole. So as you all heard, I have a knot on this one stitch here. So you see me getting it to a certain point, and then I have to either use the awl or I have to like pull it through kind of forcefully. I mean, it's okay. Oops, there goes my awl again. That time it went way under there. There is no shortage of stuff to do in Dad's workshop, y'all. We do stuff here. That's what we do. No hesitation at all. No conversation. We're doing stuff in here. If you like that, you should definitely subscribe. You should definitely become a member where I can like shout your name out all the time. And we do members only chat. So there's sometimes where you can only make comments if you are a member. But if you're in the gallery, thank you for being here too. You chose this place of all places on planet Earth you could be right now. And that is something I appreciate. Ralph, welcome. Ralph, thank you for saying something in the chat. Appreciate you. Wes Does It said, that's a great first effort. Thanks, man. Thank you. Never, not very much for the needle and thread. I used to tell people is one of the. There's a couple of things Calvin can't do. Calvin can't dance. Calvin can't sew. But now it's just one thing I can't do. You want to guess? Though AI can make me dance, ask Heather. Check out Heather's channel. She did that. She was successful in doing that. Cannot see where that hole was there. Hmm. I'm puzzled here. I want to do the end of this really accurately. Oh, in case you just came in, this is squirrel leather here. So if you saw me cleaning the squirrel, or you ever saw the squirrel pinned to the board and I showed it to you, this is that squirrel, man. It became a really nice piece of leather, but it's small. So I figured this was an application it would really be appreciated for, right? And I thank that squirrel for its life, and I'm not joking at all. The squirrel is going to be appreciated. All right, I'm gonna use my awl. I think of probably a stitch or two. There's one hole there. Hardest part here, I'm gonna tell you, was when you cut it. It makes you nervous because it doesn't meet up because it's drying, right? And then when I rolled the wheel on there, this wheel right here, um, after I wet it, those holes started healing themselves, like almost like living skin would. And I wasn't able to find them. So if I had to do it again, I would make that, go over it with the awl, do every single hole with the awl, so that you can see it. Even then, it might actually. Ooh, that's tricky there. I got it's next to a little hole, so I don't want to lose this here. This is important. So go through. If I was to tell somebody else what I learned here, it's that you should definitely go back through after you do the wheel. Don't use the triangular holes. That's what for the baseball stitch is not good. It makes them weak. And then make sure that you use your awl and AWL, not ALL. Your awl. Go back through and make sure that you make hole where all of those are. I'm going to put a back stitch here. I've got a hole here. I think I got a hole here. A small what? Oh. Oh, okay. That makes sense, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't even thought about that. Rob said that? Oh, good call, Rob. Smart. Again, collectivism, see? You did, but you can't make a joke like a mask on like you did with the raccoons that I won't get for like an entire day because I'm dense. Oh, all right. So now that I shouldn't have really done this like this is probably not the way you want to end it. I'm going to actually go back through here. All right. That's really close to the edge there. It's kind of like with wood, support wood. Be careful with these holes that are right next to the edge. I might have to be extra careful here because what I want to do, I've heard you can tie it off, make a back stitch, all these different things. I think that's what I'm going to actually I'm going to draw back into this section here. maybe because this is supported here. So I'm gonna go back one there. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, that's kind of like basically like a lock stitch there backwards. It's not pretty, but I kind of need that. There's not enough support here. I'm not comfortable with uh going across with a back stitch. I feel like, I mean, I guess after I do this, I could do that and maybe feel better about it. So we're both under now. I kind of had this like romanticized vision of this thing being perfect at the end here, but it makes sense that it's not. I'll probably just trim that off a little bit. Let me see if I can make that cleaner there by going back over. I've got a lot of thread left. Maybe I didn't pull these tight enough here too. There's probably some thread I could have pulled tighter. Waxed linen thread, that's what we're using. I think I've got it tied off enough where it should hold, but let's go through, just make like a square knot here. I'm so excited, y'all. But I always do this before I stop sewing, right? I take my needles and get the thread off of them so I don't lose them because of my eyes and all of this stuff. I'm starting to get to a point where I'm like bad at this. All right, one needle. That's my that's an upholstery needle. I use an upholstery needle and a glover's needle at the same time when I do this stuff. All right, now I have a little pouch that I made for my needles, and I need to find that. That's its home. That's the homes. Oh, here it is. This is my little needle pouch. They go back in their home since I'm done sewing, right? I want to do things in an organized way. Thank you for those likes, everybody. Shout out to all of my Dad's Workshop members, too, even the ones that aren't here. Big shout out to Pilato. Big shout out to the Shoops, Heidi and Bill Shoop. Um, Shout out to Mike is making stuff. None of those folks, I didn't see them today, but I do want to say hello to them regardless. Oh no, Mike was in here. Mike was in here, right? No? Yes, no? Check that out, y'all. Look at that. Oh, uh-oh. Calvin learned to sew. Calvin made his own leather. Calvin made the sheath. Calvin made the handle. Ron made the metal. Now the next thing is to get it down to where, you know, get that metal down to where it's nice. It's so let me show you what my only problem with this. Ron is a craftsman, so don't take this the wrong way. Everything, there's always troubleshooting you have to do with everything. But let me show you what I noticed here. Do you all see that delamination right there in the blade? That could become an issue. Maybe it's not, maybe it is. I'm not a forger or a welder, so I have no idea. But my understanding is that has to kind of be dealt with. So here's what I think. I might actually grind this axe down so there's no more of this. I'll try to mimic that shape. You all probably can't see it from there. I have to back it up like right here. Maybe you can focus on it. Hopefully you can see. About 3/8 of the way in, you could see a delamination there, and I probably need to grind it down to that point. Now, remember, I am not an expert. This is my very first time sewing. That's called baseball stitch. You see, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's going to hold that handle on tight, right? Because I wet formed it. That's the stitch right there that I just did. Like, that's a man who's never sewn his entire life, who really is really focused and wants to do a good job. So it's not great, but it's like really, you can see the effort in it, right? Couldn't see on the vertical feed. I wonder if you can see that like that. Waxed linen thread, right? This is squirrel leather that I tanned myself. And then the handle is made out of ash. The wedge is made out of ash as well. So I've wedged it in everything. This is deer leather and raccoon leather. The snap strap here that I put on this morning, or Heather actually put this on. I sewed it on. She did the snap side. Um, see how it doesn't want to snap? Leather is like a living thing, dude. You got to be careful. So that's the handle and the guard. But I'm gonna get the grinding wheel out here in the next couple of days. The bench grinder, and we're gonna grind this thing down and then get a nice edge on it. I gotta do a little research on that first. But yeah, that's what we got, man. Boom, 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 boom. There's a curve, a continuous curve through this thing. It doesn't ever flatten out. It goes and it comes back. We got a sympathetic curve here, and then it comes back, right? Baseball stitched handle to give you some comfort in the handling, right? I think actually this thing could come back to where that delamination is and still have balance. Like imagine having an axe that's basically like a super sharp, strong chisel with some weight and handle to it. I think even if I was to have to take it back to this point, um, it's probably fine. I would just bench grind it. Mike was telling me I could drill a hole in it and then like MIG weld it, like with a welder. I was like, well, that would be great, but I don't know how to weld anything. So that would be another skill I have to pick up. Maybe that'll be the skill I learn in February or March. I get me a forge, but I had to spend some money on generators today. So the forge will have to wait. Um, maybe the generators will pay for themselves somehow. Definitely check out my long form videos. I don't know what they said. What they say in Japanese, Caleb? Oh, the other thing I would like to do here is like put another coat of oil on here. Let me take some tung oil here. I've got like pure tung oil in this area somewhere. Before I go, I'm gonna take some mineral spirits. Where's my bottle of tung oil? Ben, stop. Oh, right behind the bench. I got it. You could actually use that wax that I came up with before. You can wax almost anything and still waterproof it. Um, wow, that top is on there, isn't it? Ooh. Tung oil will lock on these lids, man. Oh, I'm gonna have to like pry that off. Oh, I hate that. Tung oil solidifies, becomes hard in the most severe possible way. It's kind of hard to describe it, like glue almost. Very thick viscosity oil. So I need like a little dish here. Let me find myself a little dish. I don't mind this. See, this has that dried wax in it. I'll use this because this is not gonna melt the wax probably. This is a solvent, mineral spirits, petroleum based solvent. It may. We'll see how well it works on those. Oh, he was saying thank you. I imagine for doing the video. Oh, that's very nice. Uh, Japanese people and in Asia, education and people providing education is valued, right? And I'm not an expert, but I'm teaching it to learn it better. And there's some things I am an expert on, like working wood. I've worked a lot of wood. All this other stuff is new to me. This was my first handle too, so that was what I went from. This was a cherry handle I came up with originally. Now, when I cut half this blade off or a third of this blade off, it may turn out this is a more appropriate size. All right, so now we got a little too much tung oil and some. I might have to find another piece of wood in here that needs a new treatment. Tung oil is expensive, so let's oil this handle here. And this probably you could probably oil the leather with this too. It wouldn't make a difference. Tung oil is good for almost all these organic materials. provide a little bit of a layer of protection there. And the mineral spirits thins it out, so it allows it to get into that grain. And on the next slide, we're gonna, what looks like I got a part of the handle that I need to fix a little bit. We'll grind this down because it needs to be worked a little bit to get into shape where we can sharpen it. And I do need to do a little research on how a hatchet head should really be ground down, edged, and sharpened. Baseball stitch that we did today, very tight stitch, some comfort in the handle now. I actually I oiled this leather. This is deer leather that I tanned myself. This is raccoon leather. I actually oiled that already several times, used brains and stuff like that too. And that's the finished product, y'all. Look at that. Not too bad, right? Not so bad for a day's work or a few days work or whatever. Tongue oil and those mineral spirits probably good for leather also. I've heard they could be used on that. If it's not clothing, it would make your clothing stiff, so you don't want to do that. But for leather products that are used like this, like straps, belts, stuff like that, tongue oil is probably good. I'll double check that. Somebody can fact check me on that just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure tongue oil is good for that. Thank you for the play-by-play on that hatchet, man. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Please do subscribe to the channel. I am Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. You might just have to have a little hunger going in tomorrow for this content, and I hope you do. And I enjoyed having you all. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out Rob. Shout out Carrie for the super chat. All of the members that came in. West does it. Everybody, appreciate you. Throwing this out at you, not literally. Trying to send my love, also my care. If you're in the U.S. and you're around this snowstorm, please make sure you take the proper precautions. It's ringing like it might be a scarier one to me. So please be careful and make sure that you take some. Thank you, Grumpy. Um, Please take precautions and make sure you have some source of heat or a way to deal with a couple days maybe without power. I'm concerned that people might not know that they're about to lose power, and you are probably, if you're in the eastern or southern United States. Roy, welcome. Yeah, this is an axe from scratch, man. This was made by Ron. The handle I made out of ash. I tanned this leather here. This is a squirrel, almost the entire squirrel hide, just rounded off. So it shows you how little leather a squirrel makes, right? And then the hatchet head, this is deer leather, just scrap off of a deer leg, like a deer hawk. And this is from a raccoon. And all of that I tanned myself. So what you're looking at is a real piece of cobbled together crafts. Like I really don't have money, so needed to get these raw materials however I could do so. Thanks, Roy, and all of y'all for coming today. Please take care of yourselves. Please do the next right thing. Don't be like me and lose your temper with people and burn bridges. I have a bad habit of that. It's just part of my, unfortunately, I don't want to make excuses, but it is unfortunately something I have struggled with a long time. Foot and mouth syndrome is sometimes what it's called. Putting away my X-Acto knife so we don't get cut. I love all of you. Come back again or I'll tan your hides, Oh, I still got to do this, guys. This is a chisel made from spring steel that Ron made me as well. I got to make a handle for that. So handle making time is not done. Handle making time is not done. Well, it is for today, but keep the matches away. Yeah. Well, I don't have any matches here, but yeah, no. Nothing should burn. That stuff evaporates and pretty fast. Need to close that wherever that can of mineral spirits is. You're definitely right. When that's evaporating, you to keep the matches away. Shout out to everybody. That's the hatchet right there that we've been working on. Super proud of it. All that stitching, everything. That's kind of it's a little ugly, but it's okay. It's a learning process. That I'm really really proud of, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Rob. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, that gives me a little bit of peace of mind to know that I'm not the only one who would have acted like that. Love everybody. Appreciate you all. Couldn't have been here without you. Even the ones that are upset with me that are watching in the gallery, or I'm glad you're here. I really am for whatever reason. And please pass that love along to your families and do the next right thing. I am Calvin.